Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chief Obidike. Welcome to the new Harbor Studio in Washington, D.C. This show, let's talk about it. Hey, there is something going on. Let's talk about it. Let me introduce to you first of all, my co-hosts, Joel Spears.
Hello, everybody.
And let's move right on into the questions. My dear, we have two individuals, two very key individuals. One is Honorable Zubi Chukura, known as the Mortgage Guru. Welcome, my brother. One of the top 10 purchasers. You'll hear more from him. And then the second person has been in the business of real estate for over 34 years. 34 years. A broker, a part broker owner, in residential and in commercials, an entrepreneur, investor. She does it all. And in 34 years, you would. My dear brothers and sisters, please welcome Rose Obunna. Welcome, my sister. Welcome. There's more. There's a few questions that we'd really like to ask of you. Home buying is a difficult thing now. Very difficult. And I'd like you to let our audience know, and let's talk about it. Is it easier to rent than it is to buy a house? In Washington, D.C., anywhere in America, because Zubi, you all over the place. So what is it? Is it easier to...
Well, what I always tell people is don't be afraid. Do not fret. No matter what happens, you have to have a roof under your head. It's easier to buy than to rent. Check this out. You rent for 10 years, let's say $2,000 a month. That's what? Every year. Talking about $2,400?
Yeah.
Multiply by 10, what is that?
24,000?
240,000 in a year.
Yep.
That's money down the drain. But if you were to buy, what's going to happen? That will be equity. That will be equity plus what?
But you still have to pay it.
Of course, you have to pay.
What about the interest?
The interest rate fluctuates. It depends on your individual financial circumstances. It depends on the amount of down payment you put down. It depends on what is going on in the financial world. For instance, in the last few years, inflation has been going up. And when inflation goes up, you know what happens? Interest rate follows suit.
Go right with it.
It goes to the roof. But guess what? The interest rates are coming down because inflation is somehow coming down. So interest rates
so both inflation and interest rate move up and down simultaneously.
They have a relationship. They have a relationship.
My dear sister,
it's going down.
Can you elaborate more on this? People are having difficult time buying a house. Joel, there was a question that you had about the ability to buy one.
Yeah, we were looking at the average age at which you buy your first house in the state of Maryland. It's approximately 36 years of age, and the salary for Black Americans averages in that age group around $42,000 versus, unfortunately, white people from this area is around $62,000. Then we have the issue of several people who are graduating and saddled with extreme debt from their college experience. How do we make all of that work?
Well, thank you for inviting me to this.
Welcome, my sister. Welcome.
This show. It's a very important topic that we're talking about today. It's all about housing. It's all about a roof over our heads. And the fact remains that the real estate market in the United States, which is where we are located, has really shifted a lot. There's been a lot of shifts in the market. And real estate is a cyclical business. In America, for example, historically, real estate cycles, we have what they call cycles. So where we are today, there's a lot of...
To some people, that's cyclical.
To some people, it's cyclical. But, in the beginning, you talked about so many things. Is it better to rent or to buy? And then you talked about the qualifying age range. yes, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of increase in house prices, and there hasn't been a correlating income increase within this period of time. So that has created a lot of, a little bit of imbalance in the market.
Okay.
And also, we are going to kind of take this in various segments and then dissect it some more. Joel,
Yes.
you raised the issue of affordability and age range, and also as influences the different communities that make up the American populace. For example, you talked about the Black community. You know, let me probably start there just to shed a little bit more light on that demographic. In the African American community, there's been a lot of initiative to increase home ownership because historically, the Black race is impacted negatively. And there is an organization called NAREB, which I'm a member of, National Association of Realtors, you know, versus the NAR. This is to do with the Black race and community. There is a lot of initiative to push, you know, to pump funding into purchase for people who are relatively unable to historically. And it's not just the African American community, it's also the Latino community and a lot of other international communities that make up the hub of the house buying population in this segment. There has also been a difference in shift with age range. It used to be 30-something, but in today's world, with the advent of technology, the young ones are becoming more informed about the need to invest in tangible assets. And real estate is that asset that does not fluctuate like the stock market.
Well, thank you for that, my dear sister. Really. We'll be right back. Welcome back, my brothers and my sisters. Those of you who are trying to buy a house or make a decision about renting or just to put a roof over your head. Those of you who are having difficulty deciding what to do, how to do it, which is the choice that you can make. We have Honorable Zubi Chukura, the guru, the mortgage guru. You need the money to buy. Here's somebody in our show who can help you. And we have Rose Obunna, a lady who has been in real estate business for over 34 years. That's longer than I have lived. So, but my dear brothers and my sisters, and of course, you know, the co-host Joel is here, as usual. Which is it? Rent or buy? Talk to our people. Interest rate.
Let me tell you something about whether you want to buy or you want to rent. When you are living somewhere and you think you are renting, you know what you're doing? You are paying someone else's mortgage.
Can you believe that? So
What that thing you call rent for yourself
is mortgage.
actually someone else's mortgage. So you are paying someone else's mortgage. Why can't you pay yours? Don't be afraid. If you are looking for a faster, easier, cheaper, affordable mortgage loan, whether it's for primary residence, investment, or commercial purposes,
Contact you.
I'm your guy. I'm your guy for life.
Honorable Zubi Chukura.
And guess what? If you have impediments, roadblocks to home ownership,
What kind of
whether
roadblocks?
missed payments, late payments, charge-off, judgments,
Broke, don't have enough money?
don't have it. Guess what? In America today, one of the greatest impediments, one of the greatest obstacles to home ownership is lack of the down payment. And guess what? I have it. I have it for you.
So let me understand.
Yes.
If some people just simply don't have enough money, you can channel them to the direction that they will get the money to be able to put their down
We
payment
have
in?
over 30 down payment assistance programs. I
30 as
have been researching for a very long time. Now we have the best, one of the best in the country. It's nationwide, whereby they will pay the entire down payment with
let me get
grants,
this straight.
with grants, which means free money. And if you were to sell the house tomorrow, or you want to refinance the next day, no prepayment penalty.
I'm bringing Rose in.
cost.
I'm going to bring Rose in, but I want to understand something. I'm a broke dog. I got no money, or I don't have enough money. I have to speak in the language that everybody, So you're going to help me to get the money with the 30 different programs that will make me possible to get my own house. Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you, in as much as we are here to help you, you must have some skin in the game.
Skin.
You must have some skin in the game. We're not just going to help you because you're broke.
Oh.
You're going to have to have a job. We
Uh-huh.
need to know that you have worked for the past 2 years and
You got some income coming
yes,
in.
and that you have a steady flow of income coming in, not just going out. And also, I have to see the relationship between your income coming in and your liabilities going out, and make a determination based on your credit and other personal financial details about you in order to come up with a pre-approval. Because you need a pre-approval to put you on the driver's seat in order to buy.
I
Otherwise,
need
no
a
seller
pre-approval. Can you see this guy?
is serious.
Can you see him? I got to, before I can drive the car, and I got to be pre-approved. That's what you have to do. Joel, you mentioned something about a job.
Well, yes. Basically, we're looking at the state of Maryland, for example. The average income for white America and living in this area is approximately $60,000 a year. However, for the black community, that is around $42,000. So we're also having this disparity of fresh students fresh from college who have crushing debt from their college. So how do we put all this together and make this a successful living situation with all that standing there? The houses now in this area, the average, I believe now is between 350 and 400,000 for houses that when we were coming through at that age group were only around 70 and 80,000. So what do we do?
Rose, I'm going to come back to you, but I want to ask Zubi about this tough skin that you need. You got to have something
Some skin in the game.
in the game.
What I'm saying is, mortgage is not given, just like any other thing, it's not given to anybody. You have to be in the driver's seat, like I said, and you have to show that you are fully employed for the past 2 years. You have to show that either you're working for somebody else or you are self-employed. And also, you will have to document that you have the financial muscle to execute the transaction. We need to know all these details about you. But if, in spite of all of this, you don't have the money to put down, we got your back.
Rose, I'm going to ask you in my next segment before we go on commercial about this fear, because the way Zubi is explaining it, some of my viewers may just look at you and says, whew, that's a lot. But it's real. It's real and it's a lot. So I want to make sure that you cover that fear factor, that people are so afraid to buy a house. And we'll be right back.
I just remembered it's election day. Are you going to vote?
I don't know. I don't think I'll have time today.
Millions of eligible voters in America never make it to the polls or even register to vote. When you don't vote, you're letting other people make decisions for you and pick the things your taxes will pay for. Voting is more than a civic duty. It gives you a voice about the priorities and the future of your community and our nation. Voting gives you a seat at the table.
Welcome back, my brothers and my sisters. We needed to get certain things clarified. So, my dear brother, Honorable Zubi Chukura, let me come to you for a second. You're well known as the mortgage guru. Could you please explain to my audience and all the people who like to know, what is a guru?
Well, I've been in the mortgage space for over 17 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done over 1,000 loans.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing we have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
That is why when you mention the fear factor,
Mhm.
I say whether you are afraid or you are not, you need to buy. You need to get a piece of America.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get a piece of the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can do that is when you meet a loan officer like myself.
Uh-huh.
Experienced.
So that's what it is.
That is where that
Get it straight, folks.
mortgage
Guru
guru came from.
means a loan officer. You cannot buy a house without him. As simple as that. We just call him guru because he's been involved so long.
The money man.
The money man can get you the money.
right.
Sister,
Yeah.
you don't have the title guru behind yours. What do you have?
Well, experience matters. I'm this subject matter expert in real estate.
Subject matter expert.
That's right. When you talk of real estate, either commercial or residential, I've been in this space. And with 34 years under my belt,
Yeah.
I think I could comfortably say that I do know the American real estate market pretty well.
Okay. But we can't call you a guru.
Well, I'm not a guru. I'm just an expert.
Guru-ette.
I'm a real estate broker.
She's a real estate
I'm
broker,
also an investor.
an expert.
And more importantly, I'm also a chaplain who cares about the spiritual matter of people in terms of home buying. Housing should be looked at also spiritually. So I could probably just bring that into the fear factor.
Well, okay.
In everything we do in the world, there is fear, but we need to overstep those to be able to move forward in life. So we will advise our brothers and sisters out there, in whatever you're doing, try to get yourself a home.
That's the main goal.
That's the main goal, to get yourself a home, because a home is very important. It's shelter.
It's shelter.
And also it gives you financial stability.
Mhm.
And when you have a home in your
That's an
profile,
asset.
it is an asset that will grow over time versus spending money on intangibles that you buy today and tomorrow is gone. For example, buying fancy cars and buying fancy bags, nothing wrong with them, but get your priorities right. And when you do, the fear factor will be out of the way for you.
I wonder, some people that are older, I'm coming to you, my dear brother.
So let's talk about, what do you do when you want, or when you just want to find information about home buying? You approach a real estate agent, some called realtors, but only those who are members of the National Association of Realtors could use the term realtor. And they are bound by certain ethics that protect you as the home buyer.
Okay.
Or also the home seller. Being an agent, we just don't represent buyers, we also represent sellers. But let's concentrate on the buying side. You get yourself somebody who is knowledgeable, who can sit down with you and do a one-on-one consultation. Because real estate is not just national, it's local. Sometimes people say, oh, the prices of houses, how much house can I buy? That's where we bring in the mortgage, the loan officers to help out. We then help you sit down and itemize where you are, not just financially, but also in terms of your priorities, what you want to do next. When you finally decide and we know that you have been pre-approved to buy a home, we then sit down with you again to prioritize where you should buy, what you should buy.
What size house you want
Exactly.
for your family?
Exactly. And does it meet your needs versus wants? There are wants and needs. Everybody wants a mansion. But my advice is start somewhere.
And the basement doesn't leak, and then you take them over. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm crossed. I wanted a mansion. I'm just saying, you know.
Nothing wrong with it, Joel. Mansions
Have you ever sold a mansion?
Of course.
A mansion?
Of course. Yes, we do that every day.
Let's hold on to that.
In real estate, you must have sold a variety of properties.
Actually, any house that you get is your mansion.
That's right.
Zubi, you want to make a point. Go ahead,
The
sir.
point I'm trying to make about the fear factor. Fear comes to you when you are not sure of what you want to do or how to approach the process. That's why I keep telling people it's easier to buy than to rent. Let's check this out. Let me give you a little bit of the documentation that you need to buy a house with.
Tell me.
And you will find out that most of this documentation, if not all, you have it right here in your pocket, or it's in your car, or somewhere in your house. First, we need to know who we are dealing with. I have to authenticate your identity. How do I do that? I need to see a copy of your driver's license, and we collaborate that with your social security card. Now that I know who I'm dealing with, I need to know where you live. So we need to see some type of
Where you
residence.
live or where you want to live?
No, where you live already.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to know that you live XYZ place. So you have to give us proof of
Who
residence
you are.
of where you live.
Okay.
Now that we already know who you are.
Now you want to know where I live.
Now that we know where you live, we need to authenticate your employment.
Okay.
Are you working? Have you worked for 2 years
Or have
and
you
counting?
or have you
And
graduated from school?
And if you have not worked for 2 years, you need to show us a previous employment. Previous employment. To total 2 years and counting. Now that we know that you have the income to move forward, we need to see that you have the financial muscle to consummate the transaction. So we need to know whether you have the assets necessary to make it happen. What do we call assets? Your bank account, current account, savings account, your IRAs, your, what do you call it, investment account. Wherever you have liquid assets.
Okay,
that
call
you can
liquid
use for
asset.
down payment or closing costs or both. So now that we have, you see that you don't have much. It's easier to buy than to rent. There should be no fret.
So if you tell me I give you all that information, I give it to you, and you say, sorry, you don't have that much, then where do I go?
What you need to do is go back to your loan officer who will now clean up.
We'll be right back.
I want my mansion.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I just remembered it's election day. Are you going to vote?
I don't know. I don't think I'll have time today.
Millions of eligible voters in America never make it to the polls or even register to vote. When you don't vote, you're letting other people make decisions for you and pick the things your taxes will pay for. Voting is more than a civic duty. It gives you a voice about the priorities and the future of your community and our nation. Voting gives you a seat at the table.
Welcome back. I am so impressed and so happy to have you two as the guests here on Hey! Let's talk about it. Welcome. I really appreciate the information that you have provided the audience. Our audience, they know more now. And if they still want to buy a house, they know now what to do because you've explained to them professionally what steps they need to take. But before we conclude, let me remind you that on this next Saturday, there'll be the walk on Cancer Walk. Remember, please, as you'll be shown and you will see it, go to the Cancer Walk. Those of us who are who have cancer, we would like you to come. I'll be there and I'll see you there. Remember also, the election is coming up. The election is coming up. Get yourself ready to vote. Senate, Congress, President, but it is just a primary. But make sure, I think it's the 14th of this month, that you get yourself ready to vote. I also like to remind you, the audience, about the Alibo Development Foundation. ADF, get involved. The issue of Biafran-Nigerian war have not been concluded. Some people believe that they are the ones who will tell an individual how to grieve. But let me be frank with you. How do you tell a nation on how to grieve? A whole nation. Stay tuned on that. ADF, Alibo Development Foundation, is just a simple foundation that is asking the Igbo people anywhere in the world, go back home and develop your country. Because Igbo people have developed countries everywhere but their own. Alibo Development Foundation. And never you forget, Biafra was real. Let me come back and thank both of you to please come and conclude to us. My dear sister, Rose Obuna, a broker, conclude for us your assessment of how people now will get the house, how you will help them to get that house.
Thank you again, Chief, for this session. What I would say to those who are out thinking of buying a home, get past the thinking part and take action. Be strategic about it, like we said at the beginning. There's a lot of resources out there to help you own a home today. Do not just take what you hear from the news. Do your own individual research. Consult your local real estate agent or real estate broker. Have a one-on-one consultation to put on paper where you are, a roadmap from where you are to where you want to be. Instead of thinking about it, because sometimes we get stuck in the paralysis of making a decision on taking the next step. This is the time. The federal government, the local government, the state government, they've put a lot of resources to help first-time home buyers, even next-level home buyers. Whether the price is high today or low today, doesn't matter. There is room somewhere for you to own a home. There are resources for you to own a home. There are local mortgage programs and national programs, like Zubi said in the beginning, to help you. So take that next step. And we are here to help you locate the house to buy, give you the resources, show you the way, and find the home that will meet your family needs.
I'm just trying to buy a house. How do I contact you?
Well, you could Google and find a local real estate broker to represent you. For me,
yes.
Oh, I could be reached through Citywide Realtors. I'm located in Maryland and DC, and I could be reached through the Let's Talk About It program.
Well
with
done.
The new National Harbor Studio.
Absolutely. I tell you, this lady is smart. Zubi, Honorable Zubi Chukura, conclude, sir.
Thank you for giving us this golden opportunity for Let's Talk About It. If you are looking to buy a house, do not overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just go ahead and consult with your local loan officer who will help you get pre-approved right away. Pre-approval keeps you in the driver's seat in the home ownership journey. If for whatever reason you are not able to be approved right away because you have some issues, your loan officer will help you with the resources available to him and his team to get pre-approved later on.
This is a teamwork.
It's a teamwork. You can't do it alone. But guess what? You need to get the facts. I don't beat about the bush. There should be no shenanigans. There should be no procrastination. Whatever you want to do it now.
Bob, may I, I'm sorry, Chief, may I just get an angle to this? You know, sometimes people are gifted by family, they have the funds to buy cash. Beyond the mortgages, it's good to mention that for those who are buying cash, there's also a great space for you to buy a home with cash. And with cash, you could even get more discount on the price of home that you're looking for. So I just thought we'd chip into that.
Cash.
Cash. And for those...
Money talk.
Cash is king.
Exactly.
Cash is king.
Exactly.
Cash is king, but credit opens a whole world of possibility
That's right.
for you.
That's right. So there are options. It's just to let people know there are options.
I'd like to thank
Let-
both of you
just
for
for
showing up
option.
today, for coming and driving a long way. I appreciate your presence. Thank you so much, Joel. Would you like to conclude something, sir?
Well, I think I learned a lot. Definitely interested. My son's at that age group where he wants to look at properties, so we'll be talking.
We'll be talking. Hey, there is something to talk about. God bless you. Take good care. Good night.